Hey there, Mr. and Mrs. Nobody, number one and a number two. Oh, wait. Is that a little nobody behind you? Well, I hope you're prepared to tell that little nobody how this world of ours actually works. You know what I fucking hate? Most white people. Like, not your normal, everyday, run-of-the-mill white people. They're just as cool as anybody else, really. But who I'm talking about are the not just privileged, but super fucking privileged. Think about how white people have been fucking it up for everyone else in the world for literally a millennia. It's insane it's insane the horrors and pain and suffering that the white race has brought to the world at large, just because we think there's really no proof behind it, but for some reason we thought that this earth just belonged to us. The fucked up thing is that we were allowed to think this for a very long time because we had the money and the power and the weaponry to fight back. And if you disagreed with the money, power, and weaponry to fight back, then all of these were directed at you. It's been so long that we just haven't given a fuck that I think white people got a little sloppy. And in this case, I'm speaking of the government of our great nation, the USOA. More specifically, the thesis of this exact episode. I don't want to give much away other than say that if you've done heroin or crack before, you have a few people to thank for it. Starting off with the CIA, and wouldn't you know it, the FBI. So hey, Rob's NSA agent, why don't you guys just fucking chill, just for a bit, and have a listen. You might even like it.
As I walk through the valley in the shadow of death to take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left, cause I've been blasted and laughing so long. Even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. Me be treated like a punk, you know, that's unheard of. So you better watch how you talking or where you're walking, or you and your homies might be lying in chalk. I really hate to trip, but I got a lock. As they croak, I see my face in the picture smoke. Fool, cause I'm the kind of dealer little homies wanna be like on my knees in the night, saying prayers in the street light. Been spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. Been spending most of our lives living in
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Jason Rambo, and I am a person.
A turd burglar.
Believe it or not. Believe it or not.
I'm walking on air.
Don't leave
With-
your cat
with me
box
here-
out. He will steal
with me here
the
tonight
crunchies.
Wait, people steal your cat poo?
I called you a turd burglar.
Oh. No, not cat poo. Gross.
Why not? Dogs love it. It must be good.
Kid tested, dog approved. So I debated with myself, one could even say master debated, if
One
I was going to
did
mention
say.
the fact that what we are doing right this second is a do-over.
It's
But
a
by
mulligan.
me saying that should let you guys know that I've decided to tell everybody that this is a do-over. And I was thinking about, just really fucking giving it to Rob and just throwing him under the bus. But,
Please lube it up first.
we had something to salvage, and I did a stupid thing myself, so I'm also to blame. But mostly
Wow.
Robert, because the other thing wouldn't have happened if his shit wouldn't have happened, and that wouldn't have happened if he, I don't know,
Knew anything
knew
about
what
computers?
a watch was. If he was like the dad on Happy Days and happened to one time own a digital watch, then maybe he would know how to let Windows 10 do its deal.
Hey, I got a watch and it's a lighter at the same time.
You have a watch that's a
pretty
lighter?
camp.
Yeah.
Is it like, do you like do it like a Spider-Man hand configuration and then it like flames up or something?
No, it's got a
'Cause that
little
would be
button
pretty
and it
awesome.
flicks.
You got a little button. Is it a wristwatch?
Yeah. It's probably
It
15
sounds
years
like
old.
it might be
but-
like a fire hazard,
Nah, it'd be alright.
right?
I got enough hair,
That's
it'll grow
pretty
back.
cool.
Either of you guys ever own one of those TV remote control watches that all the cool kids in school had?
No, I was
No.
poor.
I always wanted. Yeah, same. I always really, really wanted one of those. And
Yep.
like, how much do you think one of those would have cost back in the day?
Way more money than I could afford. But no, I mean, everything was more expensive than it should have been. You know?
It still is.
Well, I mean, but it was all
I
new.
think that's
like we
always,
were just
though.
like we were just talking about how you had to rent phones from the phone company when they first came out, and that's back in the days of switchboard operators and fucking operator, give me Klondike 50 whatever. So
I want to say those watches would have at least cost $50 or $60, man. I mean, I remember the ones that had the calculator.
that was in the realm. No, that was in the realm of possibility. Was
No, growing
$50,
up-
$60 even in high school.
I was the remote control.
Yeah.
Get up, you bastard! Change the channel. Done watching. I don't know why your parents are from Boston. I just
Hold
Yep,
that bunny
I had
ear.
to flip through the 4 channels, I'm telling you.
Hold that bunny ear. Put one leg behind your head. Turn around in a circle.
that is how babies are made.
Bible fact.
Most people aren't even going to know what the hell we're talking about.
I've already told everybody out there who I am, and that's the important part. So here we start the show.
Oh shit.
Oh come
Well,
on! It was a.
you just did
I was
that.
just joshing you.
I'm a Josh. You're fucking.
Joshing ya. Should I talk with a lisp for the whole show?
I love that lisp. I like to say
It's
stuff
the
like
best.
chicken salad sandwiches.
Chicken salad sandwiches sound sweet. Come on, Robert.
So-
Give us a lisp. Let's
Oh,
make fun of
you should
people
just
that
see the
talk
look on
weird
my
together.
face, I'm telling you. No,
Why?
because
Did
I
you grow
talk
up with a
weird.
lisp?
I would
Robert's
be,
like,
uh,
I spent years getting rid of that lisp.
No, it was a stutter.
Oh, was it? Well, did you get rid of the stutter by saying, he bashed his fists against the post, but still insists he sees the ghost?
Actually, no, it was Sugar Hill Gang that helped me get rid of it.
Oh, so it was
Nice.
a hip, hop, a hibbit to the hip,
Hip, hip, hop, you don't stop a
rocket to the
rockin'.
bang, bang, boogie to the jump. Ah, damn it, you fucked
That's
me
right.
up.
You don't take a hoe to
Boogie
the
to the rhythm of the
hotel.
boogity bee.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I got over my stutter by never having one.
That helps.
I hear that that's the smart way to do it.
That's
Certainly
right.
makes it easier.
It's always easier
So,
to quit
Chris-
when you never start.
Chris Trismegistus Barrios III.com. That is your new name, and I will be starting an actual website that is labeled Chris Trismegistus III Barrios
.com.
.com. Well, actually, we couldn't get .com. We had to go with .org because it was either .org or .au. And
No,
Better than
I am an
.gov.
organization. Yeah.
yeah, you'd have to move to Australia. It was a whole thing, and customs just wasn't having it with all the shit in your face.
Well, I heard
So-
Chris likes to go down under, though.
You know I
Yeah,
do.
that's different
I
though.
do,
I
girl.
mean, Australia doesn't have enough dangly bits.
Ah, is that what it is? You know, I hear cocaine over there is like fucking astronomically expensive, which
Yeah,
makes
because
sense.
it's in fucking
because
Australia,
it's in the
which is
middle of-
forever away from. Yeah,
fucking
it's in
ocean.
the middle of
But-
nowhere.
No, like there was a kid at this party that I went to years ago, and somebody like brought their cousin who was fresh in visiting from Australia, and like he sat down and drank with us and shit like that, and like he was telling us that fucking coke goes for like, I don't know, it was I don't want to sound fucking ridiculous, but it was something like seriously astronomical, like in the hundreds for 1 gram.
And Chris is like, we just find it on the street.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, you guys don't have any crackheads at all, do you? Like, there's no way.
No, they're just super, super, super influential, like fucking goddamn senators and shit.
And now you know why they drink so much.
Like Marion Barry. So, and then next sitting just slightly left of Chris in our imaginary head table / lounge area. It's got sweet blacklight posters. We have a hookah right in front of us, but it's got tobacco in it, kids. Don't do drugs unless you really want to.
Or you share.
Alone. Yeah.
Alone?
Don't do drugs alone.
Well, I mean, you have to have friends for you not to be able to do that. And, you know, some of us aren't that fucking lucky, Chris.
This is true. This is true.
I can't... did you guys like how I called Rob earlier on the messenger Robble?
Yeah. I was thinking... let me see you shake it.
Robble.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Break it.
It's the Hamburglar.
See, I went total booty shake with it.
You went booty shake with it, and that's fine. I mean, you know I like levels. I like layers and levels.
That's true.
And, I mean, that's the only way you can knock things down a peg, is if there are pegs under the pegs that they're currently on.
And hairy rebels. I hear you like those, too.
They do me right. So, yeah, Rob Cook. He is just dreaming about just... he wants those genitals so bad. He wants those male... He wants...
That's not my dream
the
at
pendulous.
all. I want to
He
be
wants
a...
the pendulous. Just windshield wipe in his face on just 2 speeds. Just low and super fucking high.
No, I'd rather be a bartender down in the Bahamas somewhere.
Nice.
Maybe the Cayman Islands.
No, that's... It's too hot.
Corporal Privates
too hot,
has had
too much
so
sand.
many fucking pet names now. It's weird to hear his real name. Like, just all regular and all out there like that.
I'm mad at myself because I swore that I would never use his real name. At least I wouldn't. But I don't know. You know, today's a special day.
We're gonna have to make another do-over.
Yeah,
fucked it up.
I mean, we're only 10 minutes in now, and I've only used all my A material. But whatever.
All right, so you ready to find out what the episode is about again?
Well, can we do a little wink, wink? Maybe we've been talking about stuff that it pertains to.
Sure.
Like old man dangly bits.
Pendulous.
Dangly parts.
You know Ronald Reagan had the pendulous.
He was rocking that pendulous. Oh shit.
And also real quick, did you guys hear that bitch fucking Nancy Reagan's finally dead?
No, really?
Mm-hmm.
Nancy Reagan died a long time ago. You're talking about Barbara Bush.
Oh yeah, that one too. Son
Barbara
of a
Bush
bitch. Did I really just do that?
Yeah.
No, Nancy Reagan was the say no lady.
Yeah, she was the one with Mr. T hanging out at the Christmas party.
How did she get Mr. T to a Christmas party? God. Do I have to be president?
Oh my God, you have... Yes, to get Mr. T to dress up as Santa Claus, yes. You have to be president.
He will only hang out with presidents and first ladies. And, hopefully, wink wink first men.
It's because he's the
But he ain't getting on no plane, fool.
Don't leave us yet, Mr. T. I need you in my life.
Yeah, no, he can't go anywhere anytime soon. No. He pities all the fools. There's plenty of fools left to pity on this earth, sir.
Indeed. Because I'm really, if anyone were going to drag him down to hell with them, it would have been Mini-Me.
Yeah.
Which we also touched on in the original of this.
Yeah.
I didn't touch on him. That's gross.
Sir.
You know, hey, can either of you play trumpet? Do you know how to play taps?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then fuck them. All right.
Not musically
Take it over,
inclined.
Rob.
I've been trying to train my butt to play tunes my entire life. I still haven't figured out.
Not interested.
I'm
Thanks,
supposed
though.
to squeeze or clench or what to get that higher pitched one.
It's all about less airs higher, more airs lower. It's all about the shape of the orifice.
I see.
The more you know, kids.
In this case,
the more you know.
Your fart hole. Yes. Okay,
Maybe
so
I
Rob.
just need an ancient Chinese trainer.
Or, like, I don't know, just like a trainer. Like, it doesn't, I mean, why ancient
No,
and Chinese?
he must be Chinese.
Why can't you have like a 30-year-old Swedish dude being like, this is how you play with your butt?
See, I feel like a Japanese guy would be like just too hardcore. Like he would just be too much.
They're just too mean. Yeah, at
A
least
Chinese
the Chinese
guy would be pretty. He'd probably
like they'd be
pretty
hard
strict.
on you, but they're doing it for you, and
Exactly.
they grow to love you, and they
Did
show
you
it
just
eventually.
say he would be hard on his butt?
Yeah. Wait, no. Did I? Yes, I did.
Yes.
We've all seen 36 Chambers, man. Come on. We know how it works.
Yeah, we have. Gordon Lee is the shit, and
Okay.
he's still kicking it.
Are we ready?
Yeah, he is. For our Gordon Liu podcast, fuck yes.
That's my dog. He's my
Gordon
ultimate
Lee.
favorite. My all-time favorite.
Really?
Yeah. He's done so much
Alright.
shit, dude. It's crazy. That guy knows so many styles. It's ridiculous.
I honestly don't even know the name of the guy that I think is the best, but he's this Korean guy who's in a bunch of movies that I've seen him in, and he's fucking unbelievable. But go ahead.
Word.
Sorry.
Sorry, Robot.
Okay.
No, we're not.
We're going to start in 1927 with the Office of Strategic Services.
We can't start in 1927. None of us are alive yet.
Oh, but that's where we're starting.
Okay, fine.
The Office of the
Office of
Strategic Services, if you remember from
Services.
MJ-12, was the pre-runner to the CIA.
Ah,
So.
yes.
Let me just say that I'm super surprised that you can get out offices of. See, I can't even do it.
Strategic Services.
Services.
Strategic services. Okay, you know what? The list makes S's easier.
Susie
does.
Summer sells
Alliteration,
seashells by the
here we
seashore.
come.
So, in 1927, we had the first opium scandal that was reported. We caught a U.S. attorney in Shanghai, or provided a Chinese warlord in Shanghai with 6,500 Mauser rifles for $500,000 worth of opium. Now, 1927, you got to think about $500,000 worth of opium. How much fucking
I'm
opium
guessing
did this guy
that-
have?
I'm guessing that those guns didn't come super cheap either. You know.
I've never heard of a
No.
Mauser. I hear Mauser, I think of Police Academy.
I've heard
Well,
of
that's
it.
fine.
I thought it was.
It's a bolt action rifle.
Okay.
It's just a bolt action rifle, but
But how many did he have?
6,500.
like a couple
500.
50.
That's
So
fuck. That's a
no
lot.
5,500.
6,500. 6,500
Oh, so he had
of these.
Jesus.
Six-
For a
6,500 guns.
$500,000 worth of opium.
I mean,
Fuck,
yeah,
that's
okay,
a
he probably
serious
got the better
trade.
deal for sure, but still, it's not like he gave him fucking plastic beads and goddamn plague blankets, you know.
Ugh.
All right, nobodies,
So
are you ready? I'm
intense.
about to piss Jason off. In 1934, the State Department protected a ring of drug dealers, allowing them to flood New Orleans with heroin. It was part of the Honduran Drugs for Guns funding a Honduran Civil War so that we could put our guy in power down in Honduras. New Orleans.
You said New Orleans correctly. You
You
said it
did.
right the first time.
Holy shit.
I was like, I know it's coming, and
New Orleans.
but then you didn't. So that's kind of funny that when you tried to be an asshole, you couldn't. And I think that just proves that you're an all right guy.
That your programming is working out just fine. We're gonna. It still needs a couple of tweaks.
Beep
But,
bop, boop bop, beep bop.
Nipple tweaks.
Yep.
All right, anybody who knows
Yeah.
anything about
So-
some organized crime knows that one of the main families started in New Orleans. Did I do it right again?
No, that you
No,
see now
that
you're
was
doing
wrong.
it wrong on purpose.
That was wrong.
Lens,
Uh,
like
so-
the lens in your glasses.
Who's our guy in? Where did you say Nicaragua or what the fuck? Where did you say
Honduras.
Honduras. That's right. So
Honduras.
His name,
who's our
his name
guy
was Pete.
in power?
His name was Pete Sanchez.
Oh no, back in 1934.
So we had
wonder
Juan,
which one it was.
put Juan
We
in
had
power.
we had one in power. Yes,
We put Juan in power.
we certainly did place one of them in power. Yes.
Okay. We do that now.
It wasn't
This is gonna be
Slowpoke
the-
Rodriguez. I know that.
This is totally going to be the racist voices show.
Don't worry, we'll be getting to some big no's here in a minute. Don't worry, it's coming. It's coming.
That's right. Just you wait till we get back to China.
All right. So 1939, we had the FNB, which was the Federal Narcotic Bureau.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
That's
So I'm just going to be
easier
saying
to say than the
FNB
other
from
one.
now on.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know. It's that narcotic that just messes with me.
With the strategic services it's just unnecessarily a pain in the ass.
They were
Full
trying
new
to build
blockbusters.
a conspiracy case against Bugsy Siegel, who was tied to Lucky Luciano and Meyer Lansky.
I think it would be a little more interesting if they were trying to get a case against Speed Buggy, the dune buggy that can talk.
Indeed.
I can't even do his voice. It used to be something like that.
Oh,
Doesn't
I
he just
forgot,
go,
yeah.
or whatever?
No, he does that weird, like, putt-putt thing, like, but
Oh,
it's a weird
No, I
cheek
can't do it
noise
either.
that you have to make, yeah.
My cheeks is too dry.
Yeah.
Now,
I
Lucky
never
have to use
Luciano,
some-
he set up the
need some
commission.
Chris's
He pretty
dish
much-
soap.
Organized the 5 families and started the whole organized crime basically in New York, organizing the 5 families, getting them to work together so that way they could basically make more money and stop killing each other. He started
Which
the
is good for
commission-
business, I hear. Yeah. Wait, what
Yes.
year are we in now exactly?
1939.
It's just like Wang Di, who unified China.
Wong D.
Yep. And it's
Yeah.
just like me that
You
time.
sure he wasn't the right
that-
D?
No.
Ooh. Ooh. Stopped me dead in my tracks. I had some nonsense coming, but I liked it.
Nope. I'm sure.
So Meyer Lansky was not able to be in the mafia, quote unquote, because he was Jewish and he was not from Italy or Sicily or any of those other E's.
Didn't he make
could never
really early
become a made
cartoons?
man.
No,
Wait,
no.
is that? Am I thinking Metro Goldwyn Mayer? What am I thinking?
Yeah.
Get your
I
Jews
feel like
straight,
I
man.
had
Come
heard
on.
that name before, though. But I've seen several, organized crime documentaries, so that might be where I've
I
heard
find
it before.
that highly unlikely.
Well, Jason, you're just going to have to sit on those words and digest them with your butt until you...
You know what? Just
it.
because, not because you said to, but because I want to, I will.
Put it in
All
your
right,
man
so the
pocket.
conspiracy case basically stated that Lansky sent the very sexy Virginia Hill. I posted pictures of her and Siegel on the Facebook, and she had some nice gams. Let me tell you, some nice yams.
Are you saying yams?
Yams.
Are you saying?
Look at the yams on her.
No,
Yams,
it's gams with a G.
No,
I
it's
told you I was going to miss
yams
the
with a
pronunciation
Y.
just for you.
I swear to fucking God, it is gams with a G. It is
What the hell
not
is
yams.
that short for?
What? I just fucking if I know, but it's gams. It's certainly not yams. Look at
Yams
the
is
yams on her. Look at
sweet potatoes,
the-
baby. Yeah.
Oh, it's not what
That's
it is.
thighs. That's what that is.
You guys are idiots. Hate you. Continue, please.
So basically, Lansky set Virginia Hill up in Mexico into a nightclub. Virginia's job was to start seducing high-ranking military, politicians, police officials to basically set up her drug-running business.
This
In the
lady
process-
is a boss.
Yes. She is one of the prominent female, or probably the first and only prominent female in the mafia scene if you start researching any of this.
She's
In
so
America.
serious, dude. She's the precursor for Grisetta Blanca, which I
That's the
said
one I was thinking about.
in the last episode. But yeah, now this bitch right here is fucking. She is intense. To imagine that anybody had the gall to do that. You know what I mean? And just, I mean, man. Knowing what could happen, knowing the people you're dealing with, that's high. It's ballsy.
But for what she was doing and who was backing her, like, did she come preloaded with the gall, or was the gall upgraded into her?
Yeah, that's a good
some
question.
point further
she
down
had
the
a
line.
brass set before it even began. They just
I'm
polished
sure,
it for
but
her.
I mean, having Uncle Sam, pushing you through doors and shit has got to give
she
you.
Probably just had 5 brothers.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
And she kicked the shit out of every single one of them.
Yep, 5 brothers growing up, taught her how to fight.
Now, while she was in Mexico, she met another bad bitch named Dr. Margaret Chung.
Oh,
Chung Chung's back.
Chung Chung.
That's right. That's right. She was an honorary member of the Hop Sing Tongs, which pretty much is the triads here in America.
Triad.
Fucking A.
She was also
Bad
the
bitches
doctor
impress
to,
the shit out of me, man.
especially in the culture where women aren't really meant much
Right.
to be a member of that.
Oh yeah. Especially during the time period where they were basically just getting out of binding their feet, if not still doing it, being a bad enough chick to be like, no, and I'm going to run the shit, and you guys are going to answer to me, and I'm going to make all the money, and I'm going to get all the chicks.
And she was an actual doctor. She was the doctor to the Flying Tigers, which was a private airline set up by the CIA to move opium from, here you go, Jason, Thailand to Mexico.
It's just not the same. It doesn't have this. Okay.
You gave me
Zach
10
Morris
minutes worth
pause.
of shit
No,
last time
no,
I said
time out.
Thailand.
Yep. Zach Morris, time out. So, listeners, when we originally did this, Robert, without any sort of he wasn't being ironic. He wasn't being funny. He genuinely, for who knows how many years, saw the word Thailand written out and said to himself and out loud, Thailand. So, like, what's just above the yams, apparently.
Hey,
So,
you leave them sweet
THI.
potatoes alone.
he goes through
You don't know
his
what
whole
you're
life
talking about.
saying Thailand as Thailand, like some kind of crazy goddamn fried chicken amusement park, and not a
yeah.
single person corrected him until Chris and I 2 nights ago.
And did we ever?
He has had people look him in the eyes and say in all sincerity, I love you.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
That could not possibly be true if they have been letting him go around saying Thailand time in.
But in reality, how often do we talk about Thailand? I mean, does that not come up in everyday conversation?
Chris's
I would
whole
go
last
question-
episode took place there.
That's true. I would go question your family and your lady friend and your children, and go question, sit them down and make sure their love for you is genuine.
Yes.
You never know.
They have to if they've been putting up with my ass all these years.
Just please don't lie to Daddy. Do you love me, or are we just friends?
Why are you letting me say this? And still think
You're
I'm
making a
cool.
fool out of me, and he just starts throwing shit.
So the CIA would move opium from Thailand to Mexico. And at the same time, the CIA would bring back spies and put them through the same channels into China. So you had a
Which again
two-way
is a
street
dick
going
move. Super dick move. You don't you don't take and then subvert. Like that's it's a give and take. It's a give and
That's
take.
right.
And
It
you
was
don't
not an
give
exit
them
only.
It's but I mean biologically it's
nasty.
supposed to be. Stuff's not supposed to go up there.
So, my question is, what are these? Okay, so the one lady on the American side is supposed to be seducing all these dudes to get them into, buying and distributing and shit like that. And the other
In
chick
America.
works for the triads. Are those two chicks kind of like liaisons? Are they like doing
Yes.
business back and forth between each other so the men don't have to?
Well,
Are you
pretty
writing
much
fan
if you're
fiction?
going to infiltrate somebody, the
Sounds
easiest way
pretty
is to send a
badass.
beautiful woman into there.
Well, of course. But that's why I'm
You don't
asking.
have any
that,
of the
yeah.
dick measuring going on or anything like that, and they can sweet talk their way in.
And that's so weird, like when you're going in for a new job and stuff, and they're like, "Take it out, it's time to measure." And you're like, "But I'm working at a daycare. I don't think that's necessary." And take it out. It's all about dick measuring. So I mean, this is just something that's done. So
Well,
yeah, it's got to
I
be
mean-
cool to be a chick and not have to deal with that, you know.
No, that's the one thing I didn't understand the first time, and I was wondering this whole time was if you send a woman in both of these cases, are these women both kind of doing the same job, but they're like passing each other in the hallway, not even knowing that they're both doing the same fucking thing on the other side?
Oh no,
Or
there's
are
no
they-
way. They're
Or
too
are
high
they
up.
the ones who are talking to each other, doing the having the discussions, going back to the men and saying what's up?
Yeah,
well, I'm
because
sure
it
it's
was
Uncle
Chung's
Sam
job.
telling American chick what to do, and then American chick saying, "Hey, Chinese lady, we need this stuff."
Right,
And then the
right.
Chinese lady being like, "Okay, here it comes."
That's what
Because
I
she
was
would bring
thinking.
it, Chung would bring it to Mexico. Hill would bring it from Mexico into the United States.
Okay,
That's
all
back
right.
when Mexico was cool.
Yeah. Now the FNB knew all of this. They knew that Chung was bringing in the heroin, and that Hill would bring large sums of cash and bring it to Siegel, and then Siegel would distribute it across, distribute all the opium products across America. But they couldn't do anything about it because Chung, Hill, Siegel, Luciano, all of them had the backing of the military, of course, the mafia, and the CIA.
Mhm.
So pretty much you had the FNB sitting there knowing all of this is happening and not being able to do a damn thing about it.
And you know, I did just a tiny bit of ancillary looking up on this, and another thing I found out that Hill was really distributing a lot of was propane and propane accessories.
She was propane, baby, all the way.
I just
Caught
did
me
a
with that one.
I just did a David Letterman collar pull. It was pretty good.
Now, 1947, you had Siegel, who basically set up Las Vegas. He was assassinated, murdered, rubbed out, however you want to say it. He slept with the fishes.
I'd like to say rubbed out.
So they rubbed out Siegel, and not in the good way. After Siegel was taken out, Virginia Hill fled Mexico, and at that time the Mexican version of the CIA took over the drug business in Mexico. So now the drugs were still coming in, but now the Mexican government was getting a bigger piece of the pie.
Is the Mexican version of the CIA just spelled SIA?
It's the federales, man. The federales.
Mm-hmm.
Always keep a $50 bill in your wallet if you go to Mexico in case you get pulled over. You just slip that fucker
That's
the 15.
why I just
you
don't go to Mexico.
go on by.
Nope. Any place that can be bought and sold with $50 can suck a dick.
Oh, $50
So-
American will get you a long way in the world.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So let me just point out one thing that I have recently come to the realization of, and I'll probably point it out on this show as we do other episodes that tweak me in this same way that this one does. When it comes down to it, the universe doesn't give a fuck
Correct.
who you are, what you do, who you fuck, who you kill, doesn't
Right.
matter. Okay? Secondly, being that we are all human on this planet, any of the rules you are given and you succumb to and or try to get around and or whatever, any of these rules you fucking recognize as being such, the only power they have is the power you give them. But
It's
at the
self-governed.
same time,
We've-
you can get your ass kicked for not doing it, so that's why most people just fucking follow along with it. However,
Well, yeah.
the universe doesn't care. So
No,
all
the
these-
universe doesn't give a shit, but you do because there's consequences, and we've had this exact conversation.
Right.
Before.
But where it applies here in this story is that these people that are involved in this, FNB and the Mexican version and all of that included, yeah, they can't do shit. These are smart fucking people who have realized that nobody, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, families are destroyed and things happen when around all of their bullshit, but fuck, man, all they are is a story now. The universe doesn't fucking care. So these people
Well,
do
that's
whatever
because-
they want.
That's because their bikini car wash didn't make any money.
Well, that might be true too, but I don't know. It just seems so funny to me that some people can be liberated by that type of realization, and some people can feel even more trapped, and some people like myself who live in such a gray area are just sitting back telling stories about other people who have have taken that and run with it.
Well,
man.
it surprises you how easily consequences can disappear as long as there's money involved.
As long as there's money involved and the real solid will to fucking do these things. Like, these are
Right.
not... Man, any of these positions we're talking about are not fucking... You get to stay home on the weekends and fucking live on the beach sort of shit. No. You're constantly watching over your shoulder and all the other fucking bullshit that comes along with fucking international drug trafficking. It's fucking... Anyway.
Well, speaking of that, we're going to come back to Luciano now. We have just won World War II. World War II champs.
Yeah, USA.
So what's the first thing we do?
You guys expected me to say USA 2 more times, didn't you?
The first thing we do is go home and get our wives to play with our penises.
And that is what we call the baby boom. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yep. Where we all came from.
So
It is.
the government,
Technically,
during
it's
World
where
War II,
everyone came from now.
had a deal with Luciano. He kept an eye on all the docks, kept everything running smoothly, kept all the Germans out and all the U-boats and everything. In exchange, he got to do pretty much whatever he wanted. Well, after we won the war, we didn't need Luciano anymore, so we decided to give him the big middle finger and kick his ass back to Sicily, because he was not a United States citizen.
The big middle finger too, like not just like we didn't call like Pete from accounting. We called the man. That's right. His name is Bruno, and he works in the copy room. He's got the biggest middle finger.
I thought you were going to say office linebacker Terry Tate.
Damn it! I should have said that.
Was awesome.
So, Luciano, he's sitting in Sicily, pissed off to no end, because here he helped America. He secured the docks all up and down the East Coast. You know, he helped out the war effort.
Also a violent criminal.
Well, yeah. I mean, everybody has their uses. Once we didn't need him anymore, we just booted him out.
But that's the kind of mindset that gets us in the situation that Chris was just talking about.
Exactly.
So he was just supposed to be okay with it that they didn't try to kill him. They just kicked him out, and he's like, okay, well, whatever.
So he decided to give a big fuck you right back to America, and he set up the French Connection. So pretty much...
Which is probably the biggest fuck you can give to America, is by setting up the French Connection.
Yes. And I actually enlightened them. They already know this, but last time, not many people know that the French actually started the Vietnam War. For
Which
whatever
is fucking
reason,
crazy.
they decided they were going to go into Vietnam. So
Poppies
pretty
will
much.
make them sleep.
So with the backing of the French government, Luciano set up a smuggling business to get the opium. Instead of it going to Mexico, it would go through France into the United States.
Wait. Holy fuck. The Wicked Witch drugged Dorothy and the others
In Poppies.
with heroin.
Exactly.
Is that right? How did I miss that?
How am I just now realizing that?
Why do you think they fell all out? They just get into that little freaking dope coma and they were gone.
I mean, that never happened to me, but whatever.
How did I miss
So,
that? Like, what?
We come up
I don't
into
know. My world is changed, irreparably changed.
So
I
shockingly,
can no longer go back to the innocent time where Dorothy and the others were just, I don't know, some kind of magic dusted asleep or something like that.
oh no, we
That-
could
the
do a
Wicked
whole
Witch-
episode on the Wizard of Oz. It was a fucked up movie. Fucked
The
up.
Wicked Witch straight up like takened them, like
I don't remember.
she chained
this
them
at
up to a
all.
bed and pumped them full of heroin, so that
Pretty much.
weird Eastern European dudes could have their way. Oh, it just makes it so much dirtier now.
Dude, Judy
I'm super
Garland was
bummed.
fucking beautiful back in those days too. She would have been a prize, but how do I not remember any of this?
So shockingly,
Maybe
the
it's
French
the
were getting their ass
Poppies.
kicked in Vietnam. So they decided to pull out.
Surprise, surprise.
Now, of course,
The French are pulling out.
they left all that money on the table. You know, because they got that poppy business going on right there. So
And they don't
At
want
that
any
time-
extra children.
that's right.
That's right.
At that time, America was operating underneath the Truman Doctrine, which basically said we are going to stop the spread of communism anywhere in America, and that is the bullshit we used to get into the Vietnam War.
And of
We
course,
got to stop them red
Truman,
commies, you know.
the Truman Doctrine being that we will stop communism anywhere in the world by capturing a young white male and putting his entire life on television, but he doesn't know it.
That's right.
Think about it.
That's right.
Think about
that's
it.
why they had. That's why they made them afraid of water.
So freaky.
Son of a bitch.
So
This-
through the 60s, we
so
had the
sad.
Vietnam War ramping up, and of course that gave the perfect cover for the CIA to get their drug business ramping up at the same time, and they pretty much cut the French out of all of that.
I just see the just some kind of weird amalgamation thing of the Vietnam War on a dirt bike, and he's revving his engine, just ready to hit this ramp, this sweet ass ramp, and then here's America on another like fucking beefier dirt bike, and it's revving up its engine. It's like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and like they're both their ramps are facing each other, and like we're to the countdown of when they just let it go, and it's like some crazy evil Knievel chicken shit. And I love it.
So
Now
So
all he
stop
has
using
is chicken
euphemisms. If you use euphemisms, you throw me way the fuck off track.
So we've got the FNB coming back in. They decided to send an investigator and set up an office in Thailand to try and stem the drugs that were coming into Mexico, through France, all over the fucking place. America was getting it from all ends, let me just tell you.
This railroad just seems to be getting longer and longer.
That is nasty.
So,
But,
what's the CIA do? They move from Thailand into Saigon. Now, we've got a documented case in 1964, August 30th to be exact. A Major Stanley Hobbs was caught smuggling 57 pounds of opium into Bangkok. I love saying it. Bangkok. From Saigon, using the newly formed CIA-sponsored Air America, which was an actually decent movie with Mel
Wow.
Gibson.
and how was he busted?
Yeah, if he's on a CIA basically sponsored fucking field trip, how does the government of America bust him for doing what the CIA is sponsoring?
Because the FMBs are kind of like the kid in class that reminds the teacher they didn't get the homework. Like, teacher, you forgot to collect our homework.
Oh, we beat the shit out of that kid so bad.
And that's why they no longer exist. The FMB pretty much screwed themselves by being Poindexters.
That's why they run Fortune 500 companies and constantly show me how great their lives are on Facebook.
Fucking cocksuckers.
So, Hobbs was court-martialed, of course, because they had to actually do something, but it was in secret. The only people that were allowed to testify at this court-martial was South Vietnamese Army officers, CIA agents, and of
Calvin.
course Hobbs himself. And Calvin,
the
but
fuck?
no one could see him because he's invisible. And at the end of the court-martial, to tell you that he was actually being protected even though he got busted, he was only sentenced to a fine of $3,000 and he was suspended from any promotion for 5 years, but served no jail time for having 57 pounds of opium. I mean,
Maybe
granted,
he was just like a really good dude, you know? Like he was just real cool and like got along with everybody real well, and like they were, you know, just like not being like super friendly in court, but like he was joking around with them, and they were, you know, they'd chuckle under their little fucking glasses and under their black robes and stuff, and you know,
he got a
and they
fresh
just got,
haircut
you know,
before the day of the trial. You know, looking spiffy.
exactly. He bought a new
really-
suit.
Is that really technically a court-martial, though? Because I thought a court-martial was that you're dishonorably discharged and you serve jail time for whatever the fuck you did.
That can be. You also have NJP, which is non-judicial punishment, which means they could put you on restrictions, like you can't leave the barracks for 30 days. You
And it's
pay a
still
fine, you
considered a
lose your rank.
court-martial.
But
I mean,
a
that's
court-martial
like,
is a step
kinda
above that.
How Poe, that's like how Poe got himself kicked out or whatever. Like if he would have gone in and said that he was guilty for the guilty shit that he did, he would have been punished but allowed to stay. But since he said not guilty, knowing that he would be found guilty, he was kicked out, you know, that way or some shit.
Yeah, somebody was
Yeah, it's
definitely
not a
pulling strings for
court-martial.
this guy, because he should have went to
Yeah.
Leavenworth, plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
I
For
mean,
sure.
57
for a
pounds.
long time.
Well,
But instead, he doesn't get a promotion for 5 years, and he's fined $3,000.
Do you punish the cog or do you punish the machine?
Well, the FMB is trying to punish the machine. They actually went to a senator, a Thomas J. Dodd from Connecticut, to try to open up an investigation. Which, of course, no one knows about the investigation because the CIA killed it. And Todd went along with it because his grandson just retired in 2001 from the Senate. So there's no way you go multi-generational in the Senate. His daddy was a senator, his granddaddy was a senator. They were pretty much just passing the Senate seat down every generation.
Like I said, maybe they're just all really super chill dudes, you know?
Yeah.
Or they looked
I'm
the other
sure.
way and they said, "Look, we're going to give you some campaign." You know.
Well, no, I'm not
campaign
stupid.
funds.
He went along with it, and they funded the whole thing. And yes, the rest of his family for the rest of their lives will forever be rich and in government, and that's fine with me because that dude was super fucking chill.
I'm sure the Skull and Bones Society is all about just being chill dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and the femurs and shins.
So, we're coming to the end of the Vietnam War. From the 70s, from 70 into 75, the Vietnam War was scaling back. We were finally getting out.
USA.
Well, yeah, pretty much. After 75, we were done. After the, what the hell is that called?
Realizing that we couldn't win.
No, it was, we were actually winning. It was the,
I don't think
the
that's
New
true
Year,
at
the
all.
Tet Offensive. Oh no, the Tet Offensive. It was the Tet Offensive that changed the perception in America of the war, but we were actually winning it.
Well, it was
But we
the
just lost
the
our-
nightly
we lost our heart.
newsreels of dead young boys that
Yeah.
changed America's mind on the war.
Well, Nixon was
So-
quoted as saying when he lost Cronkite, he lost the war. Because when Cronkite turned against the war, that's when everything
Mhm.
started going downhill.
Well, everybody knows that you can never lose Cronkite. I mean, that's, you can't lose face, you can't lose your nerve, and last but not least, last but most important, you cannot lose your house keys because then you're fucked.
So the CIA started looking around the globe and going, we got to make this poppy. We can't lose this money. We got customers. You know, we got to make a little cash. We're you know, we barely got the last year Benz paid off. We got to get another one. So they decided to look around, and where do they see? Afghanistan, where Russia's trying to invade. So we
That's right,
decided
the beautiful beaches of Afghanistan. Let's
No beaches.
whisk our listeners away.
They got
to
big rocks that we
another
turned
life
into
in
little
time.
rocks.
Oh man, it's so
So-
dusty there.
We decided to start bankrolling the Mujahideen. Now,
Which
I
is
believe I've
super
actually
fun
been able
to
to say
out
that.
loud. Yeah,
Mujahideen.
I'm fucking proud as fuck of you. Although
Which
I noticed
is-
that you skipped over the Khmer Rouge this time.
Yes, I did. Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
They were damn dirty socialists anyways.
Oh,
And that
some
was
of them took
Cambodia,
baths, I'm sure.
you know, the killing fields, blah, blah, blah.
I know. Who gives a shit, right?
So, of course, the Mujahideen is where good old Bin Laden was trained and hardened in the war against Russia through the late 70s, through the mid 80s. He had his good old doctor friend who's pretty much running still Al Qaeda to this day.
Mm-hmm. And of course, America was Santa Claus, and I mean, wait, what's Ramadan's Santa Claus? You guys know?
There is no. They got the 13 Imam. That's about it. Which is going to bathe the world in blood and kill all the non-believers. You know, the good stuff.
Well, so America was that guy, and he would put under their Christmas tree. Wink, wink. It's not Christmas, really. I'm anglifying this. Here's some weapons and stuff for you guys. Like, no catch or nothing. Just have some guns and stuff.
Yes,
Sounds
and then
good
if
to me.
anybody remembers the great film of Rambo 3 where he destroys a armored helicopter with a bow and arrow, the Afghan
Fuck.
war.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Gets me
decided
going just thinking about it.
to engage in a proxy war with Russia by funding the Mujahideen and just giving
We
Russia and
tried to
breaking their
engage
balls.
Russia.
Well, yeah, I
That's
we didn't buy a
stupid.
ring this time. We were just kind of dilly-dallying,
Well, then
We
I
weren't
guess
quite
it sounds like
sure.
we weren't really serious about it, and like maybe we should have looked elsewhere because it just it's Russia. You don't just step up to the prettiest girl at the ball and say let's just do this. Let's fall in love. You can't do that. You
That's why
gotta
she wanted to
sweet
break up
talk.
with us.
You gotta. I mean, you have to prepare, man. And USA, you should know better than that because you remember the whole England thing that we went through? Remember how hard that was? That was a breakup that I don't think anybody ever got over, really. But you have to, at least wear a shirt and maybe get a haircut.
Get a haircut. For sure.
Okay. So all is going well until 1986 when we have the Iran-Contra scandal breaking, which pretty much fucked over the Reagan administration and, of course, Ollie North. We got to throw a Marine under the bus just to get it going, right?
Lee North. And once again, Nancy Reagan, fuck you.
That's right. We had Mr. T sitting there all dressed up and Nancy sitting on his lap. And at the same time, we're selling weapons and giving Iran a whole bunch of cash so they can give us prisoners and some high-grade opium.
Which is weird. You would think you can't
Yeah.
trust a place named Iran because, they're just going to leave you.
But, seriously, folks.
Haha, tugging at my collar.
So we're getting money and, of course, some high-grade opium from Iran, which we turn around and sell the opium, and everybody's all great. And we take this money and we send it on down to the Contras, who is fighting a war against the Socialist Party, the Sandinistas, in Nicaragua, which, of course,
Now,
Russia's back in...
correct me if I'm wrong. I thought the Contras got their weapons from floaty balls with wings that flew over their heads that they had to shoot down and then collect.
Well, yeah,
Right.
who do you think was dropping them? It was American helicopters. The Jolly Green Giant coming by. Little airdrops.
Oh my God, were they the first drones? Did we have drones back then?
Not that
Now
they
it
will
all
admit
makes
to.
sense.
I
It's
bet you they were
all starting
biological
to make
drones.
sense.
It's like, let's catch a bunch of angels and cut their heads and torsos off and then use them to deliver weapons to the Contras.
Yep.
And the Contras
Biodrones,
were a
loving
far
it.
right ragtag bunch of, happy-go-lucky guys that didn't really like the socialist government of Nicaragua. So they decided, hey, let's overthrow the government. And of
See?
course,
There it is again. There's
us
that
being
mind
us, we
state
decided
again.
to stick our nose in. With, of course,
Well,
Russia
I mean,
backing the Sandinistas.
what else are you going to do with such a giant nose?
I believe Chris was
Stick
alluding
it
to
in
that earlier
places.
with grams being astronomically expensive.
Ooh. Well, I mean, having a big
Throwback.
nose in that situation would suck, because you'd be like, oh no, I just did $12,000 worth of cocaine in one snort.
It'd be really expensive.
You would have no friends.
We got the proxy war going on in Nicaragua. We got the proxy war with Russia going on in Afghanistan. We just seem to be fighting everywhere. You know, just giving people little happy RPGs and AK-47s and.
Wait, did I tell you guys that I saw a documentary once where the Contra rebels, they're going to attack the government of Nicaragua, right? And it's in legend. It's just spoken about in hushed tones, where these rebels are coming up and they have this war cry. They have this yell that just hearing it sends shivers down my spine, and I'm going to try my best to do it justice here for you. You would just see the barrels of their rifles just peeking out of the jungle, and you would hear loud as the most cacophonous sound you've ever heard, "Money, money."
Wow.
That would strike fear in my heart. Really would.
That was quite a setup.
I actually should have gone with "Love is a Battlefield." But
Yeah. Pat Benatar would definitely strike fear into my heart.
Interesting little note. The socialists have a special little way of dealing with people when they catch them. They would take old tires and they would put it around your body, douse you with gasoline, and set it on fire. That's an example
Jesus.
of, hey, don't screw with me.
and no matter how much they tell you, that is not called a Dutch oven.
Very true.
No, I believe that's a Nicaraguan oven.
Ooh, it's a Nicaraguan Dutch oven that's
So gross.
caliente style, with
Muy
peppers
caliente.
With peppers.
and tires, I guess, and burned guy cooked to a crisp on the inside. Let's not forget him. Like I said when you told us about that the first time, it just seems like a waste of tires.
Really does.
Well, it's actually pretty horrible because the tires melt against your skin.
Oh yeah,
So, ugh,
I mean
yeah.
it's just prolonging your gruesome end. I watched Man on Fire last night for the first time in a long time, and
Great movie.
I can't even state how much I adore revenge flicks. And
Yeah, that was really
fuck,
good.
my three favorite movies of all time are the goddamn Korean revenge trilogy with Lady Vengeance, Mr. Vengeance, and fucking Old Boy.
I still gotta watch
all
those.
just so fucking ridiculously good. But I love and hate. I mean, if it's the bad guy doing the elaborate, over the top, let's really make this dude, hate the time that he has left on Earth before we kill him anyway. That's sad. But when Denzel's doing it, and he's cracking jokes, and he's got that fucking little smile that you just want to
Equalizer 2 coming
envelop
soon.
him. Oof,
Yeah.
you just want to be like, oh, Denzel.
Oh,
But-
Denzel.
That is when torture becomes torture.
Denzel's good at it.
All right, so I'm going to layer
Denzel's
another
good at
conspiracy. It's not really a conspiracy because most of this is documented, but I'm going to layer another conspiracy on top of this. After 9/11, we go into Afghanistan because that's where Al
Wait.
Qaeda set us up.
Is that what happened?
Yes, 9/11
Son of a
happened.
bitch, where was I?
12 hijackers decided
Middle
to
school.
take over 3.
I had just graduated high school, you piece of shit.
I was 3 months away from my first kid being born.
Aww.
Gross.
Yeah, so
Babies
I'm sitting there
having babies.
watching them planes because I didn't see the first one, but I saw the second plane hit the building, and I'm sitting there thinking, "Fuck, I got a 6-month pregnant wife, and here this shit's about to start," and the whole world stopped.
I was asleep on the couch. My brother busted into my room and he yelled, quite excitedly, "Holy fuck, a plane just ran into the World Trade Center in New York." And I said to him, wiping the sleep out of my eyes, "Fucking aliens," and went back to bed. And then he busted back in my room and said, "Holy fuck, another one hit the other one." And that's when I was like, okay, I'm awake. And then I was like, what's on Cartoon Network? Oh, the terror stuff. And so I called my friend Andy up, and we went to Bennigan's, and we had Monte Cristo sandwiches.
See, everybody knows what they were doing on that day.
I don't
It's one of them
remember
big
at all.
days like the JFK assassination. I mean, people know. You don't know where you were that day?
I think
Seriously?
I was smoking a bowl.
I was about to say, Chris is like, I remember the day before and after.
You
I
smoked
think
that
I
memory,
know where
didn't
I
you?
was, but I don't fucking know what I was doing or where I was.
But
I
it's
was
one of
in
those
New
days
Orleans,
that
but-
usually burns into your brain. Everybody but Chris, apparently.
I remember seeing it and worrying about my brother because he was in the Air Force, not knowing anything about the services or anything like that. Knowing he wasn't anywhere near New York, but still worried about him. But other than that,
I still
don't
remember-
remember shit
I
about it.
I still remember, they didn't bring me jelly with my sandwich, and I was like, "What's
we
this
can't
all
have
about?"
that, no.
And then they brought it, and oh my god, that was just the best sandwich. The best deep fried sandwich covered in powdered
Fucking-
sugar, dipped in fucking jelly. Oh my god.
Love it.
So we go into Afghanistan after 9/11. It is now our
'Cause that's
longest
where the terrorists were from.
war ever. It is our longest war ever. Going on
ours.
still
Because I was
to
about to
this
say
day.
there was one, in medieval times that went 100 years. It was called
Yes, the 100-Year War. No, this is our longest,
which was
longest conflict.
technically longer than 100 years, but yes.
So we had
Operation
the Taliban in
Victory.
control, and pretty much they had destroyed the poppy crops all throughout Afghanistan. They pretty much shut that shit down.
Why does that sound so funny?
Because now you're just hearing
Puppy crops.
Poppy field, the poppy
oh that's
crops.
that's that stuff that's the caramel popcorn with the nuts in it, you know, right?
Right? Fuck yeah, that
stuff's
shit's
good.
so
I
good.
don't want your nuts in anything. I'm sorry. Just keep those to yourself.
Well,
Especially
Poppy
not in my
crop.
food. Just keep those to yourself, all right?
you best look like putting in a fucking a request for advancement, because
Even if they're covered in
my
caramel.
privates
So
needs handling, Corporal.
in 2001, pretty much no poppy was coming out of Afghanistan. There was still a couple of the warlords that had some poppy fields here and there. Now,
When I hear warlord, I see ancient Chinese guy in full Chinese armor with a big, like, scimitar-looking sword on a horse. It doesn't matter if you're talking about warlords in like Africa today and stuff. I see that.
I think
every time.
I think of the movie The Lord of War. I like it the way I said it better.
Oh,
The
Oh,
Lord
with,
of War.
is that
It's the
Nicolas
Lord
Cage?
of War. Yes, where him and his brother sell the weapons and all over
Yeah,
the
it
world.
was all right.
He goes into
Never
Africa
saw
and he's
that.
talking to the African dude, and he's like, "Yes, I am the Lord of War." And he goes, "I believe you mean warlord." I like the way I said it better. The line just pops in my head every time I hear it.
You know which one I like even more than that though is I like Big with Tom Hanks, where he's a kid and he wants to be big, and then he makes that wish at the thing, and then he becomes big, and then he gets to have sex with that lady.
And he plays hot cross buns on the big piano.
He does.
Mhm. No, he doesn't. He plays chopsticks. You stupid bastard.
Chopstick. What? I told you I'm not musically inclined, man, and I gave you plenty to make fun of me about. So
Hot
Well,
buns.
that's why I'm doing it.
dish it out, man. I can take it.
Hot
So-
Okay, so
2001.
We have warlords sending opium over, but mostly the poppy crop is gone.
Yes. Now,
Poppy crop.
skip forward to 2013. 90% of all the poppy, all of the heroin in the world comes out of Afghanistan. So in
Well,
12
yeah,
years,
because
you went
we're
from
in charge.
non-existent to 90% of the world.
Mm-hmm.
In 2013, the harvest yielded 5,500 metric tons of opium, which was up 49% from 2012.
What?
You think if you're harvesting that much, you can afford to dip into your own stash? Or do you think you might still go overboard and ruin yourself?
Never get high on your own supply, even if you got metric tons. Which I don't know the difference between a metric ton and a regular ton. It just sounds more impressive when you say metric ton.
The
That's
metric
what was in
ton
the
has
research.
has an E. It has an E at the end of it, and the other one doesn't. It's the only difference. That's a Bible fact.
But have you noticed that most of the fighting dies in the early spring and doesn't start up again until summer?
I've also noticed that most of the dying happens in the fighting. I
Well,
wonder
this
if
is
that's
true.
a coincidence.
But that's
Well,
because...
I mean, I'm guessing that's poppy season.
Yes, it is. And so after everything is harvested, produced, and sent out of the country, you know there's going to be some people with some hurt feelings like, hey, man, you said you gave Abdul $10 a gram and you gave me $5 a gram. What the hell? I'm about to go suicide
Well,
your ass.
Abdul has a hot sister, so deal with it.
Yeah, and he's probably
He
got
does.
that fire. But everywhere the U.S. military has gone since we won World War II, all through the Korean War, the Vietnam War, all of your little wars throughout the 70s and 80s, poppy fields have been growing up. Everywhere we go, we're like Johnny Appleseed, but with poppy. Everywhere.
Oh, beautiful.
That's
So-
spacious skies on amber waves of poppies.
Cut it out. Cut it out.
Pretty much.
No.
Pretty much.
And purple mountains of heroin, and on the plains of dope.
But have you also noticed that
Who would be
the
afraid
war in
of a Jeffrey?
Afghanistan has all but disappeared from your nightly headlines?
Right.
Yeah, because we have a notoriously short attention span.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
Just the way they've groomed us.
You ask most people, they probably don't even know the war's still going on. That we still have 12,000 troops sitting in that country.
Are we still trying to close down Guantanamo Bay? Is that still a thing?
No, that died with Obama. Obama left, and we still going to have the Guantanamo. Guantanamo.
Wow.
Sweet.
But
I hope that,
you know it's not
I hope that Rob
waterboarding
and I
if you
never
use
end up
diesel,
there.
right? Well, I don't know with the DOD listening to my episode. I might end up there. So if I ever disappear, you know.
Well, if you ever disappear, we're gonna throw a party. But
No, this is true.
if you go to Guantanamo and we find out about it, we will throw a party and feel sad at it.
Yeah, kind of like one of those celebrate your life, not mourn your death.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be like an Irish wake.
Yeah.
We'll just
No.
get super drunk and talk to cousins that we want to bang.
I've got way too bad of a speech impediment to try to learn Arabic. There's way too many R's and shit in that one. Plus, I'll probably hawk up a loogie every couple minutes too, like.
Oh, nope. We don't make fun of them. There's two groups we don't touch as far as making fun of who they are personally, and that is Middle Eastern terrorists and South American and Mexican gangsters. They're all just super.
I'd take a couple of them with me.
I'm
more afraid of the government than I am
you don't
about
know to
them.
fight.
On
You have got to
vacation.
stop challenging random fucking people in the world to fight, Robert.
I am way more afraid of the United States government than I am of any Middle Eastern terrorist. They are far more likely to kill my ass than Ahmed and Abdullah or
You're
Allah.
probably
Abdullah?
right. You're probably right about that, but you know.
Yep. So
Still.
watch your
Good.
back around Kareem Abdullah-Jabbar.
Cause we forgot to mention it, but we
He's
got a
not
little
here,
love
see.
from the DOD. They decided to listen to Chris's Close Encounter of the Second Kind
His
episode.
second Close Encounter
Oh, that's
episode,
right.
and Rob's Majestic 12 episode. I did a
Yes.
little snooping. I did a little digging because I was like, hey, these two listens aren't from a country, and so I did all this super high tech hacking stuff. Like there was all kinds of cool camera angles happening, and like the zoom would like swoop in real close to my fingers, like tapping away like crazy. Like I didn't even touch
Sweet
the
electronic music in the background.
It was boom, 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 boom. Oh, it was great.
Angelina Jolie with short hair. Yeah.
So what I did was I Googled the IP address, and hi DoD.
Yeah.
I told you I had a cool
Okay,
NSA
I
agent,
did.
man. He's listening to the podcast and everything. I'm telling you. Pretty soon
And
he's going to start liking the page.
I keep telling you that your NSA agent is a bitch.
You know, we all got to put bread on the
she
table.
likes the episode. Either way.
And that my NSA agent can kick the shit out of yours.
Nuh-uh.
Ooh,
Uh-huh.
that
My NSA
sounds
agent
like-
was he once jumped off the roof and he landed and he was okay the whole time.
Ladies,
You
save
see,
it for
we
the
make them
office
out like
picnic
super
games.
spies. But most of these guys are sitting in a dark room staring at a computer all day.
Yeah,
Just like me.
analysts. Yeah. That's why I say save it for the office picnic games.
All right,
in the
we'll
office,
get
you're both
down and
pretty,
dirty
but-
there.
But at the games,
Outside, the games.
you can really show your true selves.
So I would just like to congratulate the CIA on being the world's drug dealer. It's another thing that we are great at. You know, USA
No,
all the
believe
way.
that.
We're number one.
I'd see it's kind of bugging me that you're not telling the people who was targeted as a purchaser of said drugs, especially in the 80s and early 90s, that the CIA was pushing, because it wasn't just, hey, let's fund a war and sell drugs to people that want drugs. It was, no, let's come up with a new super drug called crack, and let's push it into the poorest, blackest neighborhoods we can find.
No, I
And-
saw that documentary. RZA came up with it in Oakland.
RZA?
You didn't watch Snowfall, did you? You got to watch Snowfall.
Oh,
It's on
why?
FX. It's
I like him. I don't even like him. I love RZA. I do. He and I are buds. But, like, if you're gonna act, maybe like incrementally, you know, like you get a small part first. Like maybe you're a bus driver, or
Like
something
Method
like
Man.
that. And then after that, you know, like, yeah, exactly. Like you can't just be like, oh, I have all the money to do it. I'm gonna fucking make Man with the Iron Fist. I'll be great. I'm a rapper.
Hey,
can
I
act,
like that movie.
obviously. So do I.
I got
It
the
is
soundtrack to that somewhere.
It is terror good. It is so terrible it's good.
Yeah.
Russell Crowe has no fucking business being in that movie, A.
Right. At all.
B, RZA, I love you to death. And you have charisma. You have stage presence. You can't recite lines believably.
Now, what did you think about him in the
That-
G.I. Joe movie?
I refused to see the G.I. Joe movie because it
No, they were pretty
Bet-
good.
The second one
it
was
bent
fantastic.
my childhood over and stuck its dirty, rotten penis into it.
And the
No,
best
they
part
were
is
alright.
Channing
I
Tatum
did
dies
some
within the
Destro.
first 10 minutes. I'm telling you. It's fantastic.
You know
I
what?
dig
Maybe
some
I'll watch
Destro,
it.
man.
Maybe I'll watch it.
Destro was a cool intro for his character. Especially when they put the silver dome on him. It was tight.
Okay, so anyway, Robert, are you done with your little make 'em ups story that you made up?
That is all that I have on the information on the CIA being the world's drug dealer. Yes, I am done.
Because really, we
Okay.
don't, we don't really know for sure. I mean, it's all speculation, technically.
Well, no, I mean they
CIA.
came out and apologized for it.
Oh.
Like on record, on television, the head of the CIA, standing at a podium, said, "Hey, our bad."
Yeah, the FBI also did it too because they were targeting the Black Panther Party, stuff like that. They were trying to flood the inner cities with drugs to. I'm not even going to use
To
the terminology
destroy-
that they used, but
No, that's a good
basically
idea.
to keep
And
the
that-
black man down.
Yeah.
So,
And I will say, though, if you're ever reading a direct quote from someone, be not afraid. You are somewhat of a journalist, I suppose. So that's okay. Otherwise, you keep your goddamn white mouth in line.
No, I'm not politically correct, but at the same time, there's certain things I just won't go. No.
Yeah, indeed. So, I mean, we're still kind of early in the show here. I'm not
Well,
early.
I was going to
We're
ask what
fucking-
Chris learned.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was gonna ask is Chris, what is your drug crater pocked mind think of this whole thing?
Well, I'm thinking that, man, I think maybe I can't even imagine what the straw that's gonna break the camel's back will be, if that'll ever happen. Because how many times is it that organization, this organization, another organization, whatever, is gonna do whatever the fuck they want, get busted for it, have to fucking apologize, everybody knows about it, and then they just go right on doing whatever the fuck they do.
Yeah, and
Making up
that is
rules.
frustrating and unbelievable, but maybe not in our lifetime or even our great grandchildren's lifetimes, but
Probably not.
it is inevitable. Every empire on Earth has fallen.
Oh, I
And
have a definite feeling
I don't see
that
it not
we're getting ready to
happening
fall
again.
and fall hard.
See, that's just because you're a crazy person. Shit ain't that
Oh.
bad.
Well,
Shit ain't that bad. While you're living in your bunker, Chris and I will be at the beach hitting on some sweet babes.
well,
Sweet babes.
I actually believe that we're headed for another civil war, and that America will probably break into 5 distinct little countries.
Ooh.
See, I don't know, man. You listen to Chuck Norris way too often.
Chuck Norris. Well, you know why Chuck Norris has the beard?
Oh my God, are we ending with Chuck Norris jokes? Starting off with dead baby jokes, finishing off with Chuck Norris jokes. I dig it. Let's go. Why does he have a beard, Robert? I need to know now.
To hide the fist that's on his chin.
Oh, okay. Chuck Norris doesn't swim. Water just loves being around him.
Nice. You know, they tried to make a Chuck Norris toilet paper, but it failed because even it wouldn't take shit from nobody.
Ooh, I like that one. You got another one, Rob?
Oh shit! Now I'm blanking because you actually asked me.
Okay. All right, I got one more. I got one more, and then I'll tell you guys what I learned today. Okay. Chuck Norris, you done got your chest hairs ripped out by Bruce Lee in that movie, and you look like a bitch when it happened. Fuck you.
Oh yeah, and the snap of that arm. Oh shit! I still hear that crunch.
Yeah, you know, heap kudo. But what do I care? You're fucking 80 years old. Yeah, this is me calling somebody out that can kick the fuck out of me. That I honestly
going
know for
down.
a fact will never give a shit.
Now, that is one
Allegedly.
person I will not fuck with. No.
I just saw a fucking WWE truck and pulling the trailer with all the equipment today, actually.
Did you flash your titties at it?
No, I did. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, girl.
Rub that
Yeah,
nipple
girl.
on the window
Right.
like, hey, baby.
Yep, right
this
down
is
the
what-
interstate. Mm-hmm.
This is what I learned this episode. I learned that Robert intentionally draws attention to his accent by mispronouncing words on purpose, because when he tried, he said it correctly, which means there's a wire crossed up there, which means Robert can't pat his head and rub his belly at the same time.
Actually, I can do
calling
that.
you out.
I had a lot of time in school.
He's calling you out,
Which
son.
is why you pronounced it Thailand. Another thing that I've learned today is that I'm really super bummed that I couldn't fit David Lee Roth into this episode.
We did talk about him, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We talked about him. and his dwarf entourage of bodyguards. And when he would wake up in the morning, he would have a bearded one standing next to him with a battle axe. And David Lee Roth would say, "Let's go get breakfast." And then the one standing next to him would say, "And my axe." And then they would go eat Cheerios.
No, you gotta use the Sean Connery,
And
accent.
no, you gotta do it. I can't do it.
Now you got me. Now I'm giggling. Hang on. And my axe.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
You
We're
are
gonna-
correct,
You
sir.
will have sex with me.
We're going to wrap this episode up because my computer is acting funny again.
Oh,
Oh
no.
shit!
Son of
Okay,
a
yeah.
bitch.
Okay, okay. So here's countdown, guys. Wait. We were see no, hear no, speak no. For fuck's sake.
Yeah, we were. UFOs, conspiracies, chatty ass Jason, and murders.
And me.
If your computer fucking deletes that file, Rob, I swear to God, I'm gonna burn this fucker down. All right. So 3, 2, 1.
Good night.
I guess they can, I guess they won't, I guess they don't. That's why you know my life is out of luck, fool. Been spending most our lives living in the gangster's paradise. Been spending most our lives living in the gangster's paradise. Keep spending most our lives living in the gangster's paradise. Keep spending most our lives living in the gangster's paradise. Tell me why are we so blind to see that the ones that we hurt are you and me? Yeah. Tell me why we're so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me.
You see, that's the one place I don't look at porn. Because I don't want to get a boner while I'm pooping.